Vay, a pleasure to meet you. And I got to be honest with you, when I saw ALT5 Sigma Corp, I didn't actually know the name or recognize it. And then I saw a little bit of the backstory, which was Jan 1. Tell me what happened with the name change.
Yeah, so Gen 1, it was a 30-year-old company listed on Nasdaq, primarily had in the healthcare space. They had met and identified ALT5 Sigma, which is a private Canadian company involved in the crypto payment space. They came to a deal, and on May 16th, the transaction was closed where Jan 1 acquired the private company ALT5 Sigma. Since then, we've tried to streamline the story so that if you're looking for ALT5 Sigma, you don't go onto a health tech, biotech website. So we really had to clarify that. So since then, Jan 1 has changed its name to ALT5 Sigma, and the ticker moved from Jan, Jan, to Alt-S. So, just trying to streamline the messaging out to the markets. And since then, obviously, it's publicly disclosed, but we've hired an agent to look at strategic alternatives for those healthcare assets.
Okay, but you've retained the Nasdaq listing and the Russell Micro Corp.
Absolutely, we're a Nasdaq listed company. Yes.
Okay, cool. Now tell me about the new business that you're doing. Then, what is ALT5 Sigma?
Yeah, so it's a success story that took 6 years in the making here. The first 2 years, so we're not a startup. I want to be very clear. We're not a startup, and we're a B2B focused company. We're not servicing individuals. So the first 2 years, basically development of the platform, testing, getting the regulatory approvals. We're Fintrac, FinCEN registered. We have the money sender licenses. We set up KYC, AML. So we're very compliant, as you need to be to operate in the crypto space. First year we turned it on, which would have been year 3, we processed $39 million of transaction volume. Now that is volume that we do that converts crypto to fiat or vice versa. That's our business. We're a pipe. In the background, we work for merchants. You may not even know you're using ALT5 Sigma's Rails, but we're there in the background. We're an infrastructure company. That's the way we like it. We service large companies and online merchants. So last year, the last 4 years, we've experienced tremendous growth. Last year, we did 1.14 billion US dollars in transaction volume. This year, first half of this year, 2024, we've already done 879 million US transaction volumes. Q4 is typically our strongest quarter. So I really believe we're going to vastly exceed what we did last year. We're already there. So as I mentioned, what we do is we go to merchants. Let's say you have a camera shop that you sell online, and you want to be able to, your users to pay in crypto for these cameras. We literally integrate within a week and a half. We'll get you up and running, and your users can transact with Bitcoin, Ether, Tether, whatever it is, from their wallets, and we will transact for you and deliver you whatever you want. You can keep it in native crypto as a merchant, or you can take it in US dollars, euros, Canadian dollars, whatever you need. So that's what we do. We're that pipe, and we charge typically 1 to 5% on that transaction. So
okay, so then you're not direct to consumer, you're B2B, as you indicated, but I'm impressed by the numbers. Just in July, $179 million US, and that's more than double what you did a year ago. How are you growing so fast?
It's really a pull market right now, Pat. We have not done formal marketing. You don't see billboards about ALT5 Sigma out there. We're not advertising at Maple Leafs games or anything like that. We've actually been very quiet. We haven't been out to the conferences or anything. It's been word of mouth. It's been satisfied, happy customers that love what we've done, passing references off to their friends, and we respond to those references. Just an astounding stat. We've had one salesperson create all of this growth, and that one individual has just been running flat out, getting us to over 1 billion transactions year to date. So I think just being able to come in and maybe try to beef up that sales team, look at some targeted approach to doing sales, could really juice those volume numbers. And just to give you some context, Pat, we service just under 500 merchants right now. That's a tiny number. If we could add a couple of sales guys, we could get, if we got to 1,000 merchants, we could double the business, get to 4 billion in transactions. So really happy. I need to mention that typical rule of thumb is 1% of our transaction volumes translates into net revenue for us. And
Right.
I have to tell you, we are cash flow positive. We typically target just under 30% EBITDA margin. So hyper growth and profitability. So I think those are a killer combination.
Is there much competition in that kind of a space, given the size of what blockchain is doing right now?
Yeah, that's a really good question. What's really interesting is the traditional payment processors, the big guys, credit card guys, right? Like the guys that process for Visa, whatever. Extremely conservative industry. And frankly, they don't want to step into crypto because it shines a regulatory spotlight on the whole company and on their business. They're there to protect their existing traditional business that is a cash cow. They make money sleeping, to be perfectly honest. So the fact that, do they want to step into the crypto domain where all of a sudden the SEC is looking very closely at that part of the business, which could affect negatively their entire business? It's not a risk a lot of them are willing to take. They may partner or make investments in the space, but they're very careful about that. So that's the traditional side. Certainly, there are a lot of startups that are looking to do what we do and be in the space. I think that the key is, do you have the technology? Do you have the automation internally to make these to provide secure, scalable transactions for your clients? And it's about getting volume. Like we've demonstrated that we were able to capture these merchants, and they're happy because they're referring their friends and business associates. So it's a bit of a land grab right now. I should tell you that the payment space last year was 3 trillion US. That's ex-China too, and less than 2% of that were crypto payments. So we're early days, Pat. Only 2%, and we've been able to do this type of volume. So if that goes 2 to 3 to 4% of payments, that's a big number, even though it's tiny in the grand scheme of things.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, what are your thoughts now on the growth of blockchain technology and Bitcoin and digital currencies in particular? Do you see them taking over 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now?
I absolutely do, because I think, they're the younger generation, they're growing up with this now. They're very comfortable with it. I think, and they're going to grow up to be our business leaders, our CEOs, and incorporating that into their business plans. We see it more and more. I think there's going to be a potentially big catalyst with the U.S. elections coming up. That Trump has already said he wants the USA to be the center of crypto. They want to be the focus. They want to embrace it. I'm a big believer because I'm a technologist at heart. I'm an electrical engineer by training. So I understand, I see the value of what blockchain's all about. It's just about finding the right applications, but also the magic of what we do, Pat, essentially is dumbing it down. Make it simple. Make it simple like you're paying with a credit card, but you're actually using crypto. It's complex behind the scenes. We do a lot of interesting there's a lot of technology behind the scenes, a lot of hard work that goes behind the scenes. But for you, it's got to be simple. And that's what's going to drive adoption. And that's when my grandmother and your cousins and your nephews are all going to be able to transact without even thinking about it.
Vay, sounds like a tremendous opportunity. Thanks for telling us about it.
Thank you, Pat.